A mediocre team and Big D. That's what makes this funny. How about the Cowboys? How about the Cowboys?
They go with Cunningham.
Come on, you gotta be.
The 20.
Wow.
Touchdown,
Wow, okay.
Detroit.
That's crazy.
And he's
Come on, man. You show because you love to compete, but this shit whack as fuck sometimes, cuz.
1, 2. Check me out right here, yo.
Easy work, feet.
Turn the track up a little bit for me. All up in my ears. The mic is loud, but the music ain't loud. Yeah. Yeah. Now the mic is low now. Turn the mic up low. Oh, this shit's all the way up. Yeah. The music is loud. That's what I'm talking about. I just want to wild out.
I know. I said the last show with the cold, that it was the finale. Headaches, the 8-8 was over with. But I'm telling you, when opportunities present themselves, sometimes you just got to change course. So I can't tell you how excited I am about this limited series on MSR. But first and foremost, if you want to check out the league MSR, go to Twitter at MSR League or the network page at MSR_network. Check out the league, what we're doing on Daddy Leagues, daddyleagues.com/MSR. And always search MSR Network on Spotify for all of your needs on the podcast, NDP podcast, everything like that. So, headaches to 8-8. It's different. Like, I told you it's different. I told you I was done with the first one. This is going to be a limited, exclusive series. It's going to be a 6-episode series. And I can't tell you how just excited I am. And it's called Over the Hump. That's what the series is called. So, I'm going to explain to you why it's different, because, headaches to 8-8, we brought users up from the bottom, users that were top 5 picks. We had Muck season 1 or season 3. Then we had Cole, but for a couple of seasons. He's doing better now. But this year it's different. You're going to see more detail in this. It's going to be so much more detailed, and just it's going to flow. You're going to see like what it is to like the deep thought process inside like league games, what goes through like every step of your game plans. You're going to see so much into this. But without further ado, let me just introduce the star guest of the series, the commish, the mean connoisseur. I done messed it up, see? But one of the most unique personalities in MSR, Tim. Yo, what's bracking, man? Oh, you muted. No, don't do that to me. We just starting, bro. Don't you start that. Come on, man.
We're here.
Yeah.
Look, before we even get to this, it's wild how the creative process works. Just a message 2-3 in the morning, well, at least East Coast time, and it's led us to this on one random night. Conversation, ideas, this and that, kind of splatting against the wall, figuring something out, and we came up with something where we're in the process of coming up with something I think is super dope, and I'm excited to introduce this to y'all, man. Look, man, I'm honored for us to do this, man.
Yes, sir. I'm telling you, headaches to 8-8, Over the Hump. It's just different, right? I try to tell in the intro, like, man, it's different. It's a limited series, something that I ain't seen done in the Madden community. We've been around for a minute now, bro. So I'm excited, but I mean, we can get started now. Let's take it way back, because Madden 19.
Take it way back.
Madden 19, Slimbo. I'm telling you, he was a dog. I'm trying to tell you, like people, I say that in chat, and people don't understand it, right? Like people don't get it because they wasn't there back then. That it was like a chess match with you. You would play him, you would have them all figured out. You scouting back then. Back then we was scouting heavy. You go scouting.
We could talk about those days.
Like he's in this formation. I know he about to run this, and boom, he hit me with something the opposite way. that because he was just one step ahead, man. He was tough. We had some battles. We had some real
Some
battles
great
back
ones,
then.
man. Some great playoff battles, big regular season games,
What team
prime
were you?
time showdown type games.
What team were you in 19?
19, I was the
The
Colts.
Colts, because I was the
And
Chiefs. That's right.
yeah, and you had the Chiefs with the that DK Metcalf squad from the supplemental draft.
Yeah,
Oh
that
man.
So then we go Madden 20. You take Carolina, coming off, you
Mm,
a run heavy type. At least at that point, you were a run heavy type of person. Now you got
mm,
CMC, one of the most dangerous backs. You got electric receivers. You got defense. So
yeah,
talk to me about that cycle. I know you had your struggles, you had
yeah.
your ups and downs throughout that cycle, but talk to me a little bit about the cycle, about the close games, just all around, like what happened to you.
Madden 20 changed me. If it's
Yeah.
man, it's if you could if you could think of a movie, I'm trying to think of the title of the movie now. Um, Matter of fact, no, it's Straight Outta Compton, and it's a
Mm,
scene where Suge Knight, the person playing Suge Knight, says to the Easy E character, he says, "Man, don't make me change you, Eric." And I felt like Madden 20 changed me because going into that cycle, we had the whole, all the news and all the breakdown about
mm-hmm.
the abilities are coming in. New engine. We're going back to the engine that we think is going to work, and everyone's so excited and looking forward to it, and this, and that. And then in the midst of that, then you're dealing with other stuff, and the league was, kind of just figuring some things out. And then, but in the midst of that, you get a team, Carolina, Cam Newton. I embodied the
Oh,
whole
ain't no big
Cam
Cam fan. Yeah.
super. I love Cam Newton, so
Mm-hmm.
embodying that whole Cam vibe, from the content to the gameplay, like literally, like just
The team gear.
like
You had
having.
gear. You was
I had
rocking,
gear. I had
right?
my own. You know what I'm saying? I had bought team. I had
Mm-hmm.
team gear. My daughter, she
Mm-hmm.
had bought a Panthers little team jersey or whatever. So I had really taken and body. I had never done that either. Like really bought buying my teams outside of Cowboys, but going buying the teams that I'm playing for. Playing on the game, going and getting their equipment and merchandise. So to take that and really like have that extra a little bit of excitement really got me going. And then the cycle started, and then uh the first season started well. I think I got out to 8-4, and then like I backpedaled into the playoffs. Like I lost 3 out of my last 4,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up losing the division lead, but it was a wild card team, and I played Taco.
Mm. We know what
And
happens to Taco season 1. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
this was right after. Well, he's one of the guys. So and it was expected that he was going to take that step. Like he was really going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
He had went crazy with Mr. Trubisky and Allen Robinson, and then I beat him. And then it was like, and I had beaten Taco before, but I think more times than not, up to that point, he had beat me. So um, so to have that type of win in the playoff game, like I said, it was expected that he was going to win that game. So for me to go in and actually get that W
Mm-hmm.
was super exciting. And then, but it was never the same after that. It was a lot of slow starts, 0-3 starts to the season, or if I did start out maybe 1-0, 2-0, then it'll be somewhat of a slide after that. A couple seasons I was losing CMC to injuries,
Mm-hmm.
and then I let go of Cam after like the second season. So I was constantly trying to retool, and then uh, I think what hurt me more than anything throughout Madden 20 was the draft. I couldn't get the players that I truly wanted. I was always, and I think what hurt me more in connection with that was that I was always, me, I'm always trying to win. So even when the season could possibly be like kind of on the other side and I'm not really, maybe not in playoff contention, if I have a mathematical shot, I'm still exploring that opportunity of getting in. So I may win 2, 3 in a row, but then I'm out of playoff contention, and then
Mm-hmm.
now my record's like 7-8 or 6-8 and whatever, and then I'll maybe win another game, lose another game, and my record is not in playoff ready, but it's
Like the
not what it
Cowboys.
would have been if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I put myself in draft position sometimes where I'm right in the middle of the pack, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm left with kind of fringe
The
starter
outside of the
guys.
top, but not. Yeah. I see what you're
and
saying.
I couldn't get the trades that I wanted to try to move up. So it was a lot. Last cycle, I really held on to like probably picks that I should have let go of, held on to players a little too long. But like you said, I lost a lot of close games, and I feel like no matter what happened last cycle, I was always competitive. Like that's the thing. Like, but again, I don't want to just be competitive, but I've always been competitive. So,
Got to,
um,
bro. In this
I'm
league,
a
if you're not
not,
competitive,
yeah.
you just bottom of the barrel. It just is what it is.
Expect and with our margin of error being so small here,
Mm-hmm.
um, I pretty much showed that. Like, the stat that I had last cycle was over 60%, over 63% of my games that I lost last cycle was by possession or less. So
And we talking about a 10-season cycle. If y'all not tracking, 2020 was a 10-season, so 160 regular season games. Out of
yeah,
what he
man,
lost, 63% were by a touchdown or less. That's just
by a
heartbreaks, bro.
touchdown or
We're
less,
gonna change that to headaches
it's
to heartbreaks, huh? Heartbreaks
headache
to
to
headaches.
heartbreaks, man,
That shit.
because there's definitely been some headaches for sure.
Yeah, that shit. And you, I know you personally, so you a real vibe person too. So those 0-2,
Mm.
0-3 starts, they really slide on you. Whereas other people like 0-2, 0-3, they're like, all right, let me bounce back, and then they pull it
Right.
back. You a person that 0-2, 0-3 really could mean 0-5, 0-6. Just because how your vibes are, and if you start going into games without the right mindset, then next thing you know, you're
Yeah,
not
man.
turning the ball over, you're not making the right plays on defense,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I know it's definitely you. So I know when I came back, because I took my little sabbatical from the league in Madden 20. When I came back, they was kind of like, they wasn't dogging you, but you could tell the vibe was different when they talked about you, like, than what I was used to. So I'm like, what? I'm like, what? So I started looking up stats, and I'm like, yo, what? And you had been in the playoffs like once, maybe twice.
The whole
Yeah,
cycle. Once.
yeah,
All
once,
cycle.
right.
Once.
And the
Hmm.
last two seasons you really didn't do much, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So then we turn around and come to Madden 21. We get the team selection. You choose the Cowboys, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is team. This is, he's starting to come back. I could tell you was like real pissed about the last cycle. So there was a lot of Slimbo talk.
That chip, boy.
So then we get into season 1, because we in season 6 right now. We got into season 1. You pop off like, I think like 12-4.
12-4. Yes,
You
sir.
really should have been
Yes,
like
sir.
14-2 type shit.
It was a couple of close ones, man. Let them go, but
So
yeah,
you
12-4.
Kylo in the playoffs right away. He just popped you. I mean, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Some of them people, there's some people out there that if they pop you, it's just like, hey, you know what I'm saying? He was just better that day. Then you got to season 2. What you start out season 2 at?
0-8.
And that's when it was like, ooh. That's what I'm talking about though, because you start out 0-3 and it just kept getting worse because
6 of those 8 by 7 or less.
exactly. So then I think you brought it back though, right? You brought it back to like.
Yeah.
I gotta have to look up stats, but you brought it back to somewhere near 500. I don't think he was 8-8, but
6-10. I went 6-2 in my last 8. Yeah.
so then you trade that, let that go.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember which one. No, you let him go to free agent.
Yeah, let him go free agent. Mm-hmm.
Bring in Enrique Portillo, who set all the season 2. So now he comes
Right.
in season 3,
Mm-hmm.
and I think you go back to playoffs that year, or no?
Yes, I did. Yes, I
Yes, you
did.
did.
I met you in the playoffs that year.
That's
Mm-hmm.
right. That's right. And then you ran into me in the divisional round, and so you out there. Then the next year, season 4, saying what happened, saying it's just like season 2 all over again, except for you didn't start out as bad.
Well, season 4, because last season I didn't make the playoffs. So season 4 I made the playoffs, but it was kind of like how one of those seasons was in 20, where I kind of backdoored my way into the playoffs. Like I started off stronger, but I was like maybe 2-2 down the stretch. Didn't look as strong as I did at other parts of the season. And then yeah, I lost in the wild card that year.
Yeah.
I want to say it was a Kylo.
No, number 1, right? Was it number
Did I play number 1 that year?
Because that's the year.
Maybe I did.
I think
Maybe I did. I beat him the year that I lost to you, but
yeah.
I played someone else.
But either way, you lost in the wild card that year.
Oorah.
Yeah,
Lost to Oorah because that's the year he went to the NFC Championship. So,
beat me too.
right. So, yeah, it was just a funky year because my defense was great, but my offense had fallen off down the stretch. The running game was not there. I had, I just couldn't get going.
Which
And
is not your
in
fault.
2 games where I really, really needed to like try to just build that momentum into the playoffs to really feel comfortable. I never felt comfortable towards the end of the season. Like I was just like, yeah, I may get in the playoffs, but I don't feel like I'm gonna make a run. And I always say, like you told me, like you mentioned, vibe and everything. So I know more times than not when I'm gonna win and when I'm gonna lose because certain things during the game, certain things before the game, having my day was going, I was like, there's probably a chance I may not be able to play my best just because it's all about if I may have to just break my way into this one. Like I'm gonna have to a moment or two go right, and then I'll cut it on. Then other days, you had dinner, you don't, kicked it with the family, talked to the wife, maybe put the kids to bed, took a shower, had a smoke, whatever you need to do. Get yourself together, you come back, you unwind, you laser focus. Like you said, we scout. So, during the day I'm on my phone looking up other film, trying to figure out, okay, what you like to do on third down? What's your go-to formation, or what's your usual
Don't give out all
hot
the
route
secrets.
combinations?
Don't give out all the secrets.
So yeah, right. I don't want to give it all away, but just keep it. I like to have that kind of comfort. So it helps. And there's been times where I really had it to cycle, but once you pick up the controller, you just try to have fun and you live with the results. So right now we just, like you said, we trying to make some things happen.
So now we 4 seasons through. You missed the playoff once, and you've got 1 playoff win in 4
Right.
seasons. So then we start season 5, and that's where we're gonna get into this title, the bad, the good, the ugly. I know people are gonna talk about because it's not labeled right, but you're gonna understand it once we
It's
get
right.
into it.
It's proper.
So you start out season 5, Portillo still at the helm in his now what third
Season now.
fourth season, because he came in season 1 or season 2, but he's set third season as a starter, 4th season in the league.
That's
Yeah.
right. Facts.
So you start out 1-3. Let me break some stats down to you. You had 95
stats?
in four games. You had 95 points for, but you had given up 122 points, so point differential at 27, going the wrong way. Portillo was 79 for 119, with 977 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 11 picks. And I think at 1-3, I remember that 4th game. He was 1-2. We played coach. He beat the brakes off you. Like I'm not trying to hate on coach or anything like that, but he don't.
No.
Like that.
But
He don't beat people like that. When I seen that game, I was like,
something wrong.
oh, okay. And then you had a bye week.
Right.
So then at the bye week, talk to me a little bit like what was going through your head about the team, the rest of the cycle. Everything that was going on right there. Just talk to me.
Something needed to change. Plain and simple. At that point, I had felt like, I always felt like I wanted to make a move. Like I had made a move. Like I had signed Patrick Peterson early in the cycle. That went. It was a bad move. Never worked. Tried to, mix and match the O-line, and that's actually been pretty successful for me. But just doing things. I've always said that even in other cycles, like I'm just trying to do something different. But really, it's more like I just had to adjust to what's going on. That's kind of what happened. Like I just been adjusting. That's how you get through a cycle. You adjust. You try to figure out what works best. Sometimes you're taking a risk. Other times, you're kind of doing what you know is your strengths. But I felt like something was different. It could have been the rain. It could have been, just not his day. But I got a lot of love for Reek. That was my draft pick. I literally groomed him from 68 overall to 83 overall. That was my boy. We had a lot of good moments. It was some rough moments. But that game against Coach, I told you, if I had lost to Coach by, say, 7 points, 10 points, Portillo was probably still in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, again, it's how it happened. It was how we lost. The L didn't matter. It was how we took the L. We got our asses kicked. He had multiple open receivers, and he was just sailing the ball. And it was just like, wow. So it was just like, okay, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm throwing it too quick. But I'm just like, this guy doesn't have really the traits that I needed either. So, of course, and especially with our trait development, it's a little off. So, I was just like, yeah, I got to figure something out. And it just so happened, we made a phone call to Buffalo at the time, and uh, Carson Wentz was available. He wasn't really feeling Carson. Carson was struggling too, just like Patil. He was struggling. But I knew that you get Carson, Zeke, still had CD Lamb at the time. You know what I'm saying? You get CD Lamb in the building. I think it was just like a breath of fresh air. And then, like you said, energy, vibrations, that was a bye week for me. And then because I had played literally that game at the advance of that week, I had like 2 days, and then the bye week was an extra 2 days. So, and then I didn't play my next game until like the day after the advance. So I had like 6 days between my next game. So, and it fell through a weekend. So I just enjoyed myself, went on a hike, like just calmed down. But I was excited about the trade. So, put some content out, and it was all systems go from that point, because it was just like that. Okay, we got Carson Wentz, we got a good quarterback. Let's see what we can do.
And I always say this: if you are not an avid passer and you're not at the level that Dev ups at the end of the season almost every year, then why not trade for a superstar X Factor quarterback? Why not?
Why not?
If you're not showing that you're gonna push it and not have to drastically change your game style to get that Dev, then why not? Like, that's the same thing I told Kolb on the last season when he traded for Jalen Hurts when he had just drafted a quarterback. I'm like, bro, you're never going to dev a quarterback up. Go get an X Factor. Like, if you got the chance for it, go get it. So, but I really like that trade. So then you also go and trade Awuzie, your 95 speed, one step ahead corner.
We had some different opinions on.
And you go get Caruthers, who had just been dev down, so he's star, but he like 97?
4 overall, 97 speed, but 93 overall at the time. So yeah.
Right, and somebody else in there too. I can't remember. Justin Simmons.
Justin Simmons.
Right. Big safety, and he X Factor as well.
Right.
So like, yeah, we didn't agree on the trade, but I could kind of see you were like, you needed other weapons. You felt like
it was something.
Get something to open. You just needed something. So you go and get those players. You come back. So now you're 1-4 coming out your bye week. Pretty much
1-3.
1-3. Yeah. Looking like you about to just sit by the tail down and do the same old thing. You go
about to feed the ducks, boy.
7-0 win streak. 7 straight games with Mr. Wentz. Puts you at 8-3. Looking like you about to just cook the NFC. Like,
and in that, I beat Kylo.
Number 1.
I had 2 or 3 fourth quarter comebacks in that. Zeke was just a well-oiled machine. The defense was taking the ball away.
I mean, just everything was clicking.
Yeah.
I read your Portillo stats. So in this 7-game span, you had 212 points for, and only gave up 158 for a point differential of 54. So I mean, much better than the first 3 games. Carson Wentz went 131 for 190. He had 1,713 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. 4 out of 7 games. Whereas you was averaging, right around the 2.5 per game. And so like you have 4 in 7 games. And that's where the drastic change was, right? It was like, damn, he kind of figured this shit out. Because like at first it was like, okay, he a runner. When he passes, it's out of these certain formations. There's a lot of guys like that. And you were kind of falling into that.
And I was,
yes. That it was like, okay, he coming out in this formation, it's got to be a pass to this receiver. So then it started to open up a bit. I'm like, oh, shit. He done started to figure stuff out because your defense was always there. But if you started to figure out this offense, and it's like, all right, maybe I have to start watching now. He's starting to kind of come back. And so then you're sitting at 8-3. Everything's looking like this is a run. Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a run.
Okay.
And then you drop 5 straight to finish the year. To finish the 8.
Oh, man.
So that's where we come in. That was the good. First was the bad. Now this is the ugly. And I just remember watching it. You lost to Rico. And that game was like, I remember I was on the golf course. I'm watching it. Wentz comes all the way back. He's on a go-up drive. I'm like, oh yeah, he clutching up. It's another fourth quarter comeback. He gonna sneak into these playoffs because you know him for back going into the playoffs. You know how you. I'm like, okay, he gonna sneak it. and he just sails that pass in the corner of the end zone for a pick to seal it, and I was just like, oh, good read and everything. Then you go and face Red in week 17 in a win and go home game, and just
That was it, and then I coughed it up. Gave up the buns, boy.
Once you lost to Rico, though, the vibes was all off. It was so. Carson Wentz. I told you he had 17 touchdowns and 4 picks in a 7-game winning streak. Right in the last 5 games, he went 105 for 167. He had 1,398 yards, still a ton of yards. He had 9 touchdowns to 16 picks. 5 games, you had 16 picks, averaging just over 3 picks per game, and your point differential. Whereas in the 7-game win streak, he was plus 54. In this 5-game losing streak, he was minus 56, getting blown out. This is not close games.
Yeah.
The Rico game was close.
Yeah.
But the A1 game, I don't really remember. I remember the Ravens game because
I was close, but I came back late, so yeah.
Kyle blew you out in that span. I think King beat you. No, it wasn't King.
I beat King. I lost to number 1.
Number 1. So it was Kylo and number 1, and then on the back end was not. And it was just like, man, you just had so much build up that year just to come crashing down like that. And then after that, you lose the tiebreaker to get into the playoffs. You don't have a first round pick.
3-way tie. Yeah, man.
And you lose out into the playoffs. And you can't even there's no sometimes, I've definitely backdoored into the playoffs a couple times back in a couple other cycles. And, there's definitely that, okay, I'm here now. I just needed a ticket. Now it's time to lock.
Just get me there. Right. Just get me there.
So, you didn't even get that, though. It was just flames, right? And then you go into the offseason this year. And did you make any moves? I can't remember.
Yeah, so this offseason, nothing crazy. Nothing to really jump off of the chart. But, actually, we did make a move to jump off the chart. And the main thing that we wanted to focus on was to get pass rush. That was the thing for me. We hadn't really... I drafted a couple pass rushers. But they, like you said, they hadn't really taken that next step. One of them just, he could get off, but he was always like a step slow. And, it was just like, interiorly, in the interior, we good. Dexter Lawrence always was, really being consistent in the middle, especially as a run stopper. But off the edges, we weren't getting anything. So having Carruthers come in and the development and the potential that I see in one of my younger receivers that we'll talk about throughout the series, I felt that I needed to take one of those risks and, jump out there a little bit, taking advice from others and just kind of seeing how other people have built their teams when they needed to make a move. And, I've always been very, kind of stubborn about trading offensive players. Especially ones I really like, and I was, if I were to come and bring one of these things home, I want to do it with maybe a couple of actual real players that are from the team. So players like Zeke, CD, if I could, or Jalen Smith, or LVE, or somebody like that actually is on the roster. I would like to have that just as a sentimental thing. But CD, I just felt like I'm based on how I played throughout the majority of the cycle. I've gotten probably the most I'm going to get out of him at this point throughout. So I was like, let me move him and see if I can bring a talent in. And I was able to go ahead and get Josh Allen from Jacksonville.
UK all about him.
you know how UK do it.
I actually really like that move. But
okay.
The only thing I have with that move is he's a user D-line. He doesn't do anything without using him. So he doesn't get no pressure if you don't use him. So it kind of forces your hand on some third downs to
control them,
which kind of takes away your ability to take away other things. I don't know. I looked at him too last offseason, and that was my biggest nah, I don't do that because I'm not gonna. I feel like user in the D line. Really
you're not gonna use a D line. Yeah, you're not gonna do that.
It just handicaps you. So it was. But I mean, it's not a bad move though, because you just since D-Law left, even when D-Law was there, you ain't got pass rush. Period.
So, it wasn't consistent. Yeah, he would get a couple. He'll have 2 games where he'll have a flurry of 3 sacks, and then he'll end up with 8 to 10 for the season. So it was just I'm not really feeling the impact.
So now we get into this year, and I'm not gonna get too deep into it because, like I said, this is gonna be a 6-episode limited series. We're gonna get so detailed.
Breadcrumbs.
Y'all gonna feel like y'all in the series.
Breadcrumbs.
I promise. But, so I'm not.
This is just a breadcrumb.
But then, so that this season started, and it just didn't start off good, right? your only wins was forced wins. The games that you played, had a chance to play TJ. It just didn't go your way. You played Bear week 1 and tie. Had a couple chances to win that game, just couldn't figure out. So that kind of got you thinking, like I would have never asked you to be on Headaches to 8-8 out of respect for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that everyone I ask.
I feel you.
I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
like, everyone that I ask on Headaches to 8-8 is this inferior player or anything like that, because like Muck and
Right.
Cole both got things that they're
Right.
good at that even are matched with mine that I wouldn't try to teach them.
I couldn't do facts. Yeah.
But I wouldn't have asked you because I look at you as like, I don't know. We've always been not rivals, but like we always just go at it. You know what I'm saying? So like me reaching out to you,
Ultra competitive.
I would have felt like you would have took that disrespectful, right? And that I already know, but I'm just saying like that's how it would look if that would be like. So when you reached out to me about this kind of like let's do it different, I was like, huh. So then like we got thinking about it, you know what I'm saying, and the ideas started flowing. Next thing you know, the storyboards are out, and I'm like, okay, yeah, like this can be dope. You know what I'm saying? Like this can be dope. But how can we do this and not let the blueprint out, right? Like how can we be so just clear, black and white, but not have like everyone know what you're trying to do? You know what I'm saying? So
I got
we decided to do it like this. Like this is episode 1, the pilot episode. We called it the bad, the good, the ugly. But the rest of this series will be released when Tim is knocked out of the playoffs or the season ends in week 17. So the way that works is we've already got everything done. Like we here now, but we're just gonna keep it in. Keep a hold on to it for a little bit, and then once Tim is out of the playoffs, every 2 days we're gonna release an episode, 6 episodes. And I just hope y'all enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? Tim, talk to me a little bit about what was going through your mindset because you reached out to me.
I want to stress that too.
Yeah, I had said like the finale with Cole, that was it for the cycle. There just wasn't in my head, there wasn't a lot more that I could do that wasn't gonna be just a different person, insert person here, same concepts over and over again. So I was like, okay, I'll just wait till next cycle, come back, do a couple of cycle, and leave it at that. And I'm still going to do that, but this opens up so much more.
It does. And what brought this along for me, again, like I said, it was a random night. You were still up, but for me, I was maybe a few minutes away from the best REM sleep, that was available. And I've always been very transparent in certain aspects of, my, I don't know, gamerism or whatever you want to call it, but especially in playing Madden, because we just playing the game, so it is what it is. But the last cycle, the way I was able to kind of like open up about how I struggled, like with the blog and like really writing that blog, it took me 2 weeks to write that blog. Like I really had to think about all those games, and like I try to write from what makes it feel like you're really following the life and times of, well, currently the Dallas Cowboys, but last year it was the Carolina Panthers. Like I create these perspectives so you can follow it and really feel like you're embodying whatever's going on, figuratively with a team. So to see and to feel that, going through all this and it's all meaning for something. It feels like it's for something. Like I'm feeling this for something. I'm going through it, and I had a recent loss that it just really didn't sit right with me. Not even just because I lost, because I've taken L's. We all take L's, but it was just like I said. It was just how I lost. It was just the way that it felt. Just how I allowed the moment to just be like, you know what. And we all do it where it's just like whatever. Like you even said, I think you played the Saints earlier in the season. Where you was like, it just you just kind of starting to see how it was going, and then you let one pass go that you would never throw any other time, and that's when you knew. You was like, yeah, I didn't let it get to me. Like let me just end it properly. Let me just play my best and just get the game over with. Yeah. So I've been there, but I'm tired of being there, and more than anything, of why I want to do this is because, for one, I respect the detail that went into the previous two editions of this, and how you brought to light, like, and I mentioned this on Showdown recently, how Muck since the show has 2 out of 3 seasons won 12 games,
Yeah, he's cooking.
won the division, won a playoff game down 18 because he stayed in the trenches. Like those little things that I've seen, little nuggets I've seen dropped on here. Seeing how literally because of your show, I feel, in my opinion, because of your show, because of the improvements and progression people saw from your show with Kolb. Kolb came into season 29 with some of the probably more higher expectations from people because they saw that he was getting better game to game.
He still is.
That's the scary and part. He still is. And he's got the team, he's got the players, and he's figuring out concepts, and he's figuring out how to open up and not let everything bother him, but just stay in the moment. Like, okay, that was bad, but I control this next drive. Let me just stay with it, So as a player that has been, look, I've been running communities or playing this game it felt like, at least at the time, was feeling like the highest level, the highest league, the best quality of players. And every time I find somewhere else and I'm like, okay, I gotta step my game up. Ever since I've been in the MSR, which is now my 3rd cycle, this has been the place that I want to hang my hat on and say, I did it here. And I feel like if I'm gonna do it here, you and I gotta do it here. So that's why we're here.
I feel it, man. I'm excited for this. Like I said in the intro, like, this is one of the most excited I've been about a piece of content, because, like, to me, like, it's like a movie, bro. Like, once you start seeing the details and the episodes and how it breaks down, like, and I know, like, Headaches to 8 and 8 usually is about 20 minutes. Even this one, we're a little long now. We're at like the 35-minute mark now, so we're gonna get it wrapping up soon. But these episodes it's gonna be different. Some of these episodes might be an hour long. Like, this is a limited series, nothing like you've ever seen before, and it's just different, bro. Like, I can't explain it to you until you see it. But when you see it, you're gonna understand. Like, it's all gonna work out. You're gonna understand. But before we get out of here, I want to bring back up, if you see our league on Twitter at MSR League. If you want to get to the network, at MSR_network. Follow all accounts. That's where anything coming out. Get on Spotify, search MSR Network, and you will find all the NDP podcasts. If you want to go apply, you can go to www.daddyleagues.com/MSR, and you can go hit the apply button there, try to get into Genesis and work your way up to MSR. But I'm going to hand it over to you, bro. I'm going to let you go ahead and give us the outro. Finish us out for the episode number 1, Headaches to 8 and 8, over the hump, the bad, the good, and the ugly.
Look, man, this is just a prelude. We're still really still in the kitchen with this. If there's anything I could just say to folks, man, it's just this is you. I don't think you've ever seen me like this, or us like this, really. And I'm trying to put this in the right way, man. I think there's there's sayings, there's lingo, there's slang that's going around right now, but I think I can say this comfortably. There's a different bag that we have as a league collectively. But there's something really brewing here, and I really want folks to just kind of take this in. We've had different variants of this as well with Headaches 8 and 8. I know Joey had a similar show before. But I think the detail and some of how the different angles we're going to come with, the perspectives, incorporating the content from around the league, a lot of the things that you see, the gameplay, speaking about maybe infractions, like a lot of the way all this kind of will entail. I think you all will really appreciate it. I really hope you all really appreciate it, man, because there's a lot of think tanking, there's a lot of long nights behind it, but not even just because of that, just because it's just the energy and embodiment what we do here. So I don't even know everything. That's the crazy part. As I'm speaking to you right now, I don't even know all of this is coming. Because as much as this was my idea, I know how to let the chef do his thing too. And this has been his kitchen. And this has been going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm just trying to get over the hump, baby. I'm just trying to get over the hump. I've been to playoffs. I done made a decent run or two here and there. It's time for me to knock on that door and see if I can get my own jacket.